Hey there everybody, welcome back to another episode of Stefan's Kitchen, and this week we're going to do something simple. We're going to be doing chicken enchiladas, and we're going to be doing it by the seat of our pants, on the fly. So, no exact ingredients, but I took a pack of chicken breasts, I cut them up into cube-sized pieces, and I started frying them out, and I added in 2 medium onions, diced lengthwise, not small dice or anything, just like in the slices. And I also used a jar of roasted red peppers. So basically, we're going to let this cook for a little bit, because as you can see, it's a big pan with a lot of room, but it's hard to cover all that surface area on a stove sometimes, especially these old electrical stoves. So I just added some fresh pureed cilantro to add a bit of extra flavor. Cilantro is usually a staple in a lot of Mexican cooking, as far as I know. We also got some Adobo spice, which, by the way, is very high in sodium, but for whatever it is they put in there, it does give it a more authentic taste, in my opinion. I could be wrong. A lot of people from Mexico would probably stab me in the face. I have no idea. But, no, they probably wouldn't be that bad. But, of course, you know, it's hard to make authentic stuff here in Newfoundland because we're so far away from where they get all this nice natural stuff. Now, at the same time, cilantro does grow in the wild, so, you know, you could always really get that out in the woods if you really wanted to. But, needless to say, there's going to be an extra cooking method added in with this. Because, like I said, I don't want to give anyone food poisoning with raw chicken or anything. So, obviously, we'll skip around that. And by all means, if you don't want to use a jar of roasted red peppers, if you want to use them, if you want to make them yourself, or perhaps you just want to use red, yellow, green, orange peppers, just fresh and cut up, that's fine too. That's totally up to you. Whatever you prefer. This is going to be one of these nice, easy, laid-back recipes. You don't have to use 2 onions even. You can use 1. You can use 3. You can use however much you want. Like me. I'm pretty sure, again, that in a lot of Mexican cooking, they don't use garlic. Me and our family, we enjoy garlic in a lot of food. I even put garlic in chili sometimes. So, again, it's all about preference. So, a little bit of parsley to give it a little bit more color there. That's my main concern about this. Parsley doesn't really input much flavor into foods. But it does impart that little bit of extra color. So, and here I'm adding in a little bit of dehydrated red onion because, once again, I'm a big fan of onions. They put a lot of flavor into foods, and you can't really go wrong. So, they're quite nice. Plus, they hide away a lot like the garlic does. So once you have all this stuff added, and by all means, if you want to add more or less, something else, something different, maybe you want something spicy, add some hot sauce, some habaneros or something to it, some jalapenos, go right ahead. It's all up to you. This is just the main, or some of the main, you know, ingredients that are going to be going in the middle of our enchiladas. And for those who aren't familiar with enchiladas, it's basically almost like a fajita that's wrapped up, put into a pan, and then recooked with sauce and cheese on it. Now, I'm not using enchilada sauce, but we'll get to that in just a moment. So, as I mentioned, we're going to be using another cooking method, which is we're going to be putting it in the oven. This way I know that everything is cooked uniformly. We don't have to worry about anything being undercooked or food poisoning or any of that grossness. So once you feel that all the chicken and stuff has been cooked through, as you can see, everything looks really good there. I'm using some basmati rice, not long grain or anything, or wild. I'm also using some black beans, and basically it's a can of black beans that I drained off and then I cooked up in a frying pan with some butter. And of course, cheddar cheese. Another thing that I found that, or not that I found, but I didn't do that was authentic is corn tortillas. Now, again, as I mentioned before, I'm in Newfoundland. Yes, I can make corn tortillas, but they're very time consuming most times. And honestly, it's just easy to grab the flour tortillas at the store. Now, it's been a while since I've actually really thought about it or checked, but the store might actually have some corn tortillas from at this point. So, perhaps next time when I go to get groceries, I'll give them a go. And if there are, well, look forward to seeing some chimichangas. So, as you can see here, excuse me, I laid out our flour tortilla, and I put a little bit of the black beans on the bottom because they spread real nice, kind of give it like almost like a paste kind of thing so that stuff doesn't move around so much. A little bit of my basmati rice and a bit of my chicken mixture. And that's pretty much all we need for the fajita. So, or for the enchilada, which again, I know I said it was a lot like a fajita because it is. I mean, this is basically how a fajita is, except once you have it wrapped, you eat it. So, I'm just going to fold over here. This is how I always fold my wraps or any kind of thing that's in a tortilla shell like this, or tortilla wrap, whatever you want to call it. It's just one fold over to the front, bring all your ingredients back, fold on each side, and continue rolling. So as you can see, I found I don't know why I keep finding things, or assume that I'm finding things, but I'm using a nice deep cooking dish. This is a non-stick one, which is kind of what you want if you're going to be making enchiladas. If you know that the pan that you're going to use tends to make things stick to it, spray it down or don't use it and find something better. So, once you get your tortillas all folded up, all your enchiladas folded up and looking nice, this is where we start spooning on the sauce. You put your tomato sauce or your salsa here on the outside, and I used a little bit of the leftover black bean and corn salsa that we had in those first couple, and then I switched over to some Tostitos salsa. So, which, by the way, I'm not a fan of salsa with mango in it. I don't know why people do that, but it's not for me. So, once you're done with that, then you start piling on mounds and mounds and mounds of cheese. Mozza, actually more specifically, Monterey Jack is the best for this. Usually, it's a mix of cheddar and a white cheese. And if I was to make an educated guess, Monterey Jack is probably the cheese of choice in Mexico, I would imagine, for the fact that it's, well, kind of the cheese of choice. I'm sure they get mozza down there, but I mean, it's like a lot of these things. Like cheddar is very English, as in like North America and like England, UK, whereas like mozza cheese, at least I always associate it with like Italy, with Italian food and pizza and spaghetti, and I know some of them made in Italy, but you get what I'm saying. Same thing with like a Monterey Jack. I always think that a Monterey Jack would be something you would get in Texas or Mexico, something that's a good, like, hearty cheese for this type of thing, something gooey and that stretches like mozza, but has a nice, like, more of a, I guess, a smoky cheddar flavor. So once you have all the cheese on, and again, as little or as much as you want, it's all up to you. Put it in the oven until your cheese melts down. Don't let it burn, but let it melt down. And look at this. Oh, baby. Look at that. There's no way that you don't want to, like, stick your face in that, except for the fact that you would burn it off from all the molten cheese on top. So let's go and move this to a plate and see the final product in all its glory. There you go. 2 enchiladas. They scoop up really nice once you let them cool down for about 10 minutes. They scoop out really nicely. They don't fall apart. Very delicious, very easy. Go and try it. Let me know what you guys thought of the recipe. Let me know how you feel about the food once you get to try it. And as always, thank you all for watching, and we'll see you all next time for more recipes on Stefan's Kitchen.